Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and today we do have Sal Segala with us, but our guest is Jan Qualkenbush, and he is the team owner, an ARCA West team owner for Jan's Racing and Towing, and we're having him back for an encore visit. So I'm going to pass it over to Sal to start the interview.
Thank you, Sharon. First of all, I want to thank Jan, for coming back on the show again. I know it's been one heck of a season for you this year. You finally got your two regular drivers in victory lane. Robbie Kennealy just picking up his first win at Roseville, and then now you added a third driver in RJ Smotherman. I think last time we talked off the air, you said that RJ would probably finish out the season. The last three races, which you got Madera coming up this weekend, and then we have Las Vegas, and then after Las Vegas, then we have the championship race at Phoenix Raceway. That'll be run alongside the trucks, the Xfinity, and the Cup Series.
Yeah, we do. And when we're looking at RJ, we're trying to put everything together. Some of this is last minute. And depending on how things work out, hopefully we can get him in over at Madera. We're going to have the car there for him. And we're going to be practicing several cars in preparation for that race. We don't get a lot of practice, so whatever practice we can get in is much appreciated. And the wins, like you were saying, I'm very blessed to have the two young men do so well and step up. I knew they both had it in them, and they both kind of broke through and got their wins, and they got them with our team. So I'm very gracious and blessed that they were able to do that and showcase their abilities.
With those two wins, of course, it moved Robbie up in the points, up in the fourth. And Kyle and Trevor, they still have a good battle going. There's 12 points between them. Kyle didn't have such the race, I guess, that he wanted at Roseville. And Trevor ended up, on top of him. So basically the way it boils down to is Kyle needs to finish ahead of Trevor, at least for these next two races at Madera and Vegas, to bring it close, because once we get to Phoenix, then it's going to be open show, since we're going to have probably some Xfinity drivers and maybe a Cup driver or two.
Yeah, it's going to be wide open, and no matter who wins, it's going to be really nice. Trevor is a great competitor, close friend with the Huddlesons, very kind people, and whether it's our team, their team, it's like we all win. We're all going to have good placements in the standings. And for me, it's really a learning experience this year. I'm building for next year, which I'm really going to go all out and try a little harder than I am this year. Kyle did have a little setback in this race. He did have a broken rear end gear, and not trying to make up excuses or anything, but the pinion was broken in his car. Anyhow, we found that out later when we took it apart, metal shavings and all that fun stuff, because the gear is a it's a 667 gear, so they have a very strange pinion angle. With the Elmores or the specs, they can be pretty abusive at 600 or 700 horsepower on that rear end gear.
Let's talk a little bit about Robbie's win. Robbie's running for Rookie of the Year this year. That win just really pushed him up against any other rookie that might have had a chance. But not only that, he's got, I guess you could say, a slight outside Hail Mary type thing, to win the championship. If he could pull off possibly the last three races, pull off 3 wins, and Trevor and Kyle just don't have the finishes they've been having.
Robbie's really coming into his own. I was laying in bed reading a little bit on the internet, and I saw that a gentleman from Kicking the Tires had put a write-up in there, and Robbie had actually made history at Roseville, and I didn't realize it. I knew he did something very well as far as getting on the pole and being the rookie and the Reese's sweet move and so many different things. I think there's a couple I'm missing out, but it was like a clean sweep, they call it. It was the first time in history, from what Kicking Tires says, that it's ever been done, this clean sweep as far as being a rookie. Other people might have done it, but not being a rookie. It was, from what I was told, history. So I'm very proud of the young man and what he's done, his accomplishments. And we had talked quite in depth about confidence and what it takes to race at this level. And that's all he was lacking, is a little confidence. He's a great driver. He's like Kyle, and Kyle's helped build his confidence along with the rest of the team members. We strategically plan lunches and dinners and just talk about them and, so to speak, keeping them pumped up, keeping on top of their A game as much as possible, and keeping them on the simulators. Several months ago, when we were in the hunt, we didn't have a simulator, and Tack helped me out with the simulator. We're very kind to that man. Anyhow, we were driving to Tustin, out to a place out there where Jason Beckman works, and we were getting on the simulator with the kids for a couple hours here and there and having dinner out there. So it was not only running the simulators, but it was the drive out there to Tustin and the drive back, which is 35, 45 minutes, depending on traffic. And it was nice to get an ice cream with them, have some dinner, or the dessert. And along the way, there was even a place where you could play that happy sack or whatever you call it, cornhole. And so they would play along the way going into the mall where the race simulators were there. So I think by them bonding even closer than they already were, they're there for one another. And I'm trying to unify them as team members the best I know how, because I've never really had a team, so to speak, on my own. And so it's new to me. I'm learning, and they're teaching me, and I'm teaching them. And it's a lot of fun in this process.
We could talk about Roseville because Roseville's already in the books. How hard was it to get the car prepped? As far as getting, a crew chief, lined up, and just a team, that's already working on a championship car, with Kyle, also, working on Robbie's, making sure, he's going to secure the Rookie of the Year. And then you bring in that RJ Smotherman. He's going to possibly, finish out the rest of the season. How hard is it as an owner to get, all the cars ready and just get everything prepped, for the upcoming season?
Well, it was very challenging. You always have to have backup cars. And I know a lot of teams do have a lot of cars. Some of them aren't all together or anything. I'm kind of meticulous personally on having the right seats, the right fuel cells, everything that's in order. Window nets, shifting boots. So if we do want to race it or we have an accident, crash a car, we can bring in a backup car and be ready to go. That's worked in my favor to have backup cars. And as you well know, being a photographer for so many years, and you've done a great job, by the way, Sal, thank you for all your hard work. We have road course cars, and we have 3 road course cars alone. We take 2 and then a backup. So in all these different categories, if it's a short track, you try to take 2. Well, you try to take 3. You're racing 2, but you take 3 as a backup. And if you don't really need that third as a backup necessarily, because your cars go well, and if you do have somebody you can slide in the seat, give them an opportunity. Hopefully NASCAR works with you, and they need the car count up, so you're helping everybody as a whole. And then Phoenix, we'll have 3 cars to 4 cars at Phoenix. So just these races that I've talked about, if you run 2 cars full time, you need 3, 6, 9. You need at least 9, 10 cars per backups for primaries to do it right, to really have a chance at a championship. Some guys are out there doing it with 1 or 2 cars, and they're changing over for road course, and they're changing over to short tracks, and they're changing over to the big tracks. And some people don't have the Elmores, some people do. That was very, very challenging, because then you've got to change engines, possibly transmissions, just a lot of extra work. We always have to change gears anyhow, but I think those guys really have their challenges, especially changing a road course car to a circle track car. That's a hard task.
You had a third driver who hasn't really been around the team that much. Robbie and Kyle, they spent the whole season together at the shop, even away from the shop, doing different things, with you and the rest of the team, but the most important thing, is they're together, at each race. And then you bring in a third personality. How does that work out? And how do you get the 3 drivers, on the same page, since each driver has their own personality? They all have their own way they want to drive, and we've seen it time and time again. I'm not saying it doesn't work, because it ends up working, but how does a team owner, how do you get the 3 of them on the same page?
Everybody has to mesh. It's like having animals. And if you have dogs that don't get along, you have to separate them, or cats, any kind of animal. You don't want them abusing or terrorizing each other. But these gentlemen have all gotten along very well. And I kind of do previews before I bring people in and talk. And these guys have all raced together for many, many years, and have mixed it up and are still friends and still speak very highly of each other. And if it ever came down to having issues, I'm totally against having any type of issues on a team. I wouldn't have it. I don't like dissension. I don't like people that don't get along being on my team. It's about fun. And I'm doing this as a semi-retirement. I want to have fun. I want them to have fun. And sometimes you just have to, make changes. And unfortunately, and being a team owner, so I want to touch base on something. A lot of people, I don't think there's very many people in the pits on the different teams that haven't asked me, how do you do this? How do you don't charge these kids? How do I get on that program? And I just said, just race the kids clean, show what you really have. And you never know, you might get a shot at Jan's Racing, or another team might pick you up. And there's some people out there that do have to pay for races. And if you look at several races, they knock the front ends off these cars, and they're really roughhousers. And our guys normally get along pretty good. They don't beat up on people too bad at all. They race clean, because that's what I want. I want to race clean, and that's the biggest thing I teach them. And the other gentlemen don't race them clean. Hey, I don't look at them as hard as being maybe one of my team members in the future, or maybe a team member for another team. Anybody can be a bully and bully people around and push people around and spin them out and all that kind of stuff. And I know it's a crowd pleaser. People like that, but it hurts the pocketbook, especially when you're running for a championship. And these one-off people that come in for one race and they run you rough or whatever, and you get a pack of them. It's really rough. It's difficult running for a championship. And somebody is a one-off guy coming in and just a lot of them have respect, very kind people. I know most of the team owners, and I want our drivers to go around in the pits, and I want them to shake hands of all the drivers and all the team owners and the crew. I want them to know each other, and more of a personal approach, I think, for respect, because it does get expensive when you knock the nose off and you bang up the cars and spin people out. And that's what it slows the sport down too, because sometimes you're not able to compete because you have to have a car clipped or whatever. And there's a clean way to race competitively. Do a little bump and run if you have to or whatever, but don't just sit there and beat up on people.
That's the bottom line. I mean, that's what they call, it's part of racing. I mean, that's going to happen. You know what? No matter what level you're driving, whether you're in a bando, whether you're in a legend, whether you're in a pro late, super late, cup, we see it all. We just seen it yesterday in cup, two teammates going at it, and one, wrecking the other one because he wasn't happy with the way he was racing them. We see it in the truck series time after time. We see it in Xfinity, and that's just the nature of the beast. But now, talking on that topic, what happens when it comes to team orders? You get to the end of the season, Kyle's running for a championship. Robbie has a shot at the win, and RJ hasn't won all season, and he has a chance to win. How do you make the call on? Do you tell him just you guys race it out, or do you have any kind of little secret code that you say, hey, you know what, let Kyle win the championship, or Robbie, you know what, you do this, or RJ, you do that? Because I've seen it time and time in the West Series. I've seen it happen. I've seen good cars get taken out on the last lap, and for a championship, I've seen mistakes being made by teammates for the championship, and I've seen a whole lot of different scenarios. So I'm curious what happens at Jan's Racing.
Well, I would never rig a race. I think that would not be fair to all the other competitors at all. I would never do that, and I would really never tell my racers to do anything of that nature. But what I do like to see, them like Robbie's learning, and Kyle's been teaching him. I loved when they would get out on the track and follow each other. I tried to get them to draft with each other, run Kyle's line, learn Kyle's line, and Robbie also gets in front of Kyle, and Kyle will run his line a little bit. So they're learning from each other, and I'm trying to get them to unify and be one. and just race each other clean, and may the best man win. A championship's a championship. It'd be great for Robbie to come from the way back. It'd be fun to see Kyle win it up near the front. It'd be nice to see RJ to get some top finishes in there. And who knows what'll happen with him next year. He's kind of a backup driver in case one of the kids gets sick or something like that. I got a few people I can call, and they're pretty much NASCAR approved. Just come on in, bring your helmet, your driving suit. I need you. Let's go. You fit in the seat. That's the biggest thing. Seats are difficult, and they're hard to exchange. Takes a little bit of time. So you need somebody that will adapt quickly. Steering wheel, belts, seat, and get in and go. And that's always a comforting feeling if something did happen, because we all have issues in our lives. It doesn't have to be an illness. It can be somebody got in the hospital, somebody got in an accident. This person's got to leave. It's got an emergency. So you got to have people that can fill that gap, especially if you're going for a championship, owners points, whatever. I don't really know how a lot of it works. I just know you got to have bodies on the seats and great drivers, and they have to learn together, work together, drive together, just be kind to one another, be respectful. That's my whole thing. The better people get along on my team, the further they will progress. That's sums it up, I think, for me.
That's awesome. And with that, I know Sharon has a few questions, so I'll hand it over to Sharon.
You talk a lot about the team dynamics that you're building there at Jan's Racing, and I want to talk a little bit about how many people it takes to make this operation work, because I don't think a lot of people realize a lot of the bigger teams have hundreds of people in their operation, but the ARCA teams don't always have that luxury. So how many people are behind the scenes helping the drivers that you have?
It's a huge amount. And the easiest way I can sum it up, I have more friends than enemies. I've been in the towing business. I've helped so many people out over the years, 45 years in business. And I've done a lot of free towing to help them out in a hard spot or whatever. Just take care of things and help them out, especially if they're friends. What happens is, like I was saying, I did a lot of favors, helped a lot of people over the years. These people stepped forward when they found out I wanted to race. And I had a brain injury back in 2018, a concussion. And they knew I was trying to rehab and help kids out and do what I needed to do to sustain my life and have a hobby. And so a lot of people were supportive of me, like I'm supportive of my drivers. And so that meant a lot to me. And by bringing people like the Sunrise people, Bob Brancotti, you got Sedgwick, Mike Fisk, Dennis, all these guys. I mentioned their name, timeless over again. You got Schrader, you got both Schrader brothers. I love those guys. They're great people. Tim Huddleston. These people will bring you parts. They'll help you. They're not only competitors, but they help you build and they help you work because they know you're doing something for the sport. And as we all know, NASCAR as a whole might be on a little down low a little bit, and I think it's coming back, and it's doing good. We need NASCAR out there as well as we do other sports. There are basically here full time. I've picked up a crew chief today at the airport, Chris Graney. Brian Kaiser comes in. He's here once a week for a couple of days with his son BC, and then Aiden comes in, and we all train together. We work together. They talk about spotting. They talk about just camaraderie. We don't just have normal lunches or dinners. It's a team building effort. And wherever we go, it's about racing and all the different people that help us. So in my team organization, the people that help me, I would say there's somewhere between 20 to 40 people that for somewhere, shape or form help us. We seem to have around 20 that follow us to the races and help us. Most of them are volunteers, as I couldn't do this without help. I don't have the money to pay everybody that's here to help me. So they volunteer because I volunteer my services to the kids. And it's very kind of people to help me at that level. And sometimes I have to pay, for a few meals or whatever. If we have some winnings, I try to spread it around a little bit. And then we're trying to finally start to get some uniforms for the kids and the proper fire suits and all that. We've been using a lot of hand-me-downs. So that's one thing I would really like is to get some really nice uniforms and some the really nice fire suits and all that type stuff. But
Okay, so about 20 people on the road and 40 people behind the scenes at home. And I think that's surprising to a lot of people that it takes that many people to make things work. And to do it all on a volunteer basis is pretty amazing. I think that's unique.
well, can I can I say a word about that?
Sure.
And some of these people, they help work on the semi. You know, they service it. Eddie over at VTTR, masterful. Make sure our brakes are in compliance with the DOT and everything, and just make sure everything's right on the truck, because you don't want to lose a truck on the highway. So when I say 40 people, I mean everybody, from tire guys to you name it, people that work on our service vehicles. And that actually help out at the shop. I have people that are here at my towing service that volunteer their time. They're on the clock most of the time, but they come in and they want to, it's busy work. They want to help. They want to be part of Jan's Racing as well as Jan's Towing. I have 50 people that are employed at Jan's Towing. So some of those people are a spinoff onto Jan's Racing, if that makes sense. Everybody wants to help, and whether it's the people that design our hats and help out with the hats that we give out to a lot of people, and that's been a fun thing for me to deal with, a little of the merchandising and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Well, and I hear you talking a lot about this year, which is great. And you've had a tremendous amount of success this year with Robbie and with Kyle, and Joey has even gotten behind the wheel, and now RJ Smotherman. But I hear you also kind of inferring that you're going to be back next year and contending for that championship. Are all the guys going to come back with you?
I'm not sure. I know Robbie Kennealy is definitely committed at this point. I don't know about Kyle. He's got some aspirations, I think, about moving on. And RJ, I'm not too sure, what his aspirations are. I know a lot of the kids like to race the Cars Tour. There's a lot of other tours that they like to race. And I don't like to pressure anybody to, too much to race ARCA, and do this. They kind of do it on a voluntary basis, and they always call or they ask, hey, you have an open seat, or can I practice with you, or can I have an opportunity someday if something comes awry. That's what happens with RJ. His dad's such a kind person, Robert, and he's asked me many times. We park in the infield and camp near each other basically, and eat and everything, and he's asked me, if you ever get the opportunity, I'd love to put my son in. And that's what I did with RJ. He's been such a respectful young man. So I look at him as a backup driver. I look at Jeffrey Peterson. He's been in my cars as a backup driver. You look at, I've had people race for us. Dean Thompson at Irwindale, he raced for us. So there's several people. Mikey Killen, we got him a lot of laps. He got behind the wheel. We taught him a little bit. And now he's running the late models, pro lates, I believe, and he's doing a good job. I'm really proud of him. He's came a long way in a short period of time. And but with people, you can only help them a certain amount of time and give them the effort. You try to move that around a little bit. I watched that with Bob Rincati. He would move people around and keep them on for a while and give somebody another opportunity. And it's pretty interesting how that happens. But you get certain people, you want to keep them around as long as you can. I know, like with, let's say, Jeff Gordon with Rick Hendrick, he's one of the management people of the Rick Hendricks. And I think that's awesome to stay involved in NASCAR and just keep going. And that's what I hope in future endeavors. These kids remember me and stick around in some degree of Jan's Racing.
Well, Jan, I think you're instilling some really good values with these drivers that you're working with. And I really love what I'm hearing about your philosophy of racing and racing clean and all of that. I'm not one of these that enjoy the crashes. I like seeing the skill out on the racetrack, and to me, that's what racing's all about. So I like what you're saying there a lot. So thank you for what you're doing there. I think that's important.
Well, thank you very much. And most tracks have a couple different lanes you can race in. Some tracks are a one lane kind of a track. But I look at people that can hold a line, stay in their lane, and race cleanly. Make the car work on a high side, make it work on the lower side. Be a wheelman. And you don't need to bully people and push them around too much. I know it's exciting for the crashes and everything. The crowds like it, but it's very expensive. That's the part
Yes.
that team owners, especially with me, I don't have the funding to keep repairing cars, replacing clips, and all that. It's very expensive. So yeah, and stay in that though.
Yeah.
Everybody does have their lane, and stay in your lane. Race cleanly.
Stay in your lane. Yep, exactly right. And then I see a variety of different hats behind you. And we talked a little bit about it backstage as well. Who designs your hats and brings that about?
Well, I go to several hat stores and I pick out dozens of hats and that I like. And I have a person that puts the stitching on them and or patches, whatever I want. We're doing a lot of shirts right now, different kinds of shirts. We're doing t-shirts, polos. We've got hoodies, different kinds, zip ups or regular pullover hoodies. It's been one of my things to always give out, or sell at a cost factor, whatever that cost factor is, just to get the advertising out there and keep somebody warm. It's always nice to do that. But I do love the hats. Like I have a joke that I tell people. There's always a hat for every head, and so people ask me, why do you get so many different hats? And it's so strange because I carry a big box of hats with me. And when I pull up to Starbucks, wherever, I let the kids pick out a hat and whatever they want.
Yes.
Everybody's got a different taste in a hat. It could be a Hawaiian hat. It could be military hat. It could be like Sal. This is one of Sal's favorite hats right here.
Yes.
He loves this hat. And I don't know if it's the sheen or what it is, but this hat's for Sal. And he really likes it and helped me design it. So I appreciate him and his input with that hat.
Okay, and so if fans want a Jan's Racing and Towing hat, they can go to your website, right?
Yeah, and ask for Henry or ask for Dave, our public relations people, and we're going to sell them at a reduced rate. They're probably going to be in the $10 to $15 price range. And I know some people sell them for 20, 25, 30 bucks, but it'll be 10 to 15 bucks because I want people to wear them and have fun with them. And I'm going to have a lot of hats. I buy 10, 20 dozen at a time of different variations. So they can actually come in the Glendora office and talk to Henry and look at the hats and pick out what you want. And if the guys are around, they can even get an autograph on the hat.
Ooh, that's it. That sounds awesome.
Included in the price. But I was the one that got the first autograph of both kids. And those hats are in the safe because someday when they become successful, they'll be worth a lot of money, but I'll give them back to them after they make it to Cup. That'll be a little present from me to them.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Well, Jan, it's a pleasure talking to you. I know Sal's got some more questions, and then I'll come back for the closeout, okay?
Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, so anyways, back to what we were, talking about, with the getting the teams ready and everything. You have what, 4 days now until Friday when you guys get out and practice Friday night at Madera. So I'm sure the guys are all busy at the shop getting, whichever cars you're going to take up there ready and getting the drivers all prepped and all that. And I'm sure you're excited about it.
Absolutely. We have fuel orders we have to put in, your tire orders, they have to be in. And you have to figure out which practice tires you're going to take up. And there's a lot involved. You got to load the transporter and just make sure all the details are done because you don't want to have a DNF. Your races are won a lot of the times at the race shop, and the time you put in shows and all that. So I'm very excited. The kids, the crew, everybody's excited. They can't wait to go. The bonus moms, Fran and Susan, I call them bonus moms. They set up hotels, they set up meals. They all work together, and it's just a fantastic racing family. Like we have a towing family, we have a racing family. Now we've married the towing and the racing family together, and it's quite a unity. And I'm just, I can't thank everybody enough. It's been fun. Thank you very much for all your guys' help. I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's good. It's going to be one heck of a journey, as right now as the season's closing up. You know, we talked to Robbie. He's seen a lot of different tracks this year. Talked to Kyle. He's seen some different tracks. So now it's time to hunker down and get ready for the last few races. And see how the season plays out. With that, I just want to wish you guys the best of luck the rest of the season. And I'm gonna turn it back over to Sharon so she can close it out.
Sal, thank you very much for what you do and everything. And I just want to iterate one thing about the kids. Right now, all season long, we've been on a climb, and it's been very inspiring to watch them. And right now, for the last several races, they've started to peak a little bit. And I don't think either one of them are to their full peak yet. We've had some mechanical issues, a couple little crashes and stuff. But through it all, they're doing very well in the points, and I feel them peaking. I see their confidence levels. I see them working at the shop, putting in long hours. We just have fun. They turn the country music on. They sing to it, and this is a fun journey. It's like a hobby shop, that vocational hobby shop, Jan's University, towing, racing. It's fun teaching the kids and just being around them. They're my extended family.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And I know they work hard. You can tell just by their enthusiasm when they get out, when they finally get to the track and get behind the wheel of the car and drive it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're so thankful. Behind the scenes, they are just gracious, thanking me. And, I always ask them if they need a few dollars for travel money or whatever. And they just look at me and they say, I can't take money from you. And I said, really? I just want you to make sure you have enough pocket money to buy yourself some food or whatever you need. Cause they live in Madera up north there a little bit, and it's a long journey. And, I just want to make sure they don't do without. I make sure they stay warm, stay safe. And, I communicate with the parents and let them know that they're on their way. And when they get home, they text me and let me know they made it safe. Those are all important things, about caring about each other.
That kind of not only teaching, but they have that kind of guidance in their lives because they're all young. I mean, when you look at the ages of RJ, Robbie, and Kyle, they're not technically adults yet. They're still they're young men. And that's what a lot of people aren't realizing. Is in the series. Everybody knows Todd Seuss is the oldest one in the stable out there. But I mean, when you start looking down at the other drivers, I mean, there's a big age gap, probably between Todd and, gosh, I don't know who would be the next one down.
No,
Probably
no, up.
Trevor.
You got to go up, Sal. Come on, Shockwave, Dave.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about drivers. I know.
No,
I forgot all about Dave, but I mean, yeah, between Dave, we'd have to use Dave because Dave is a lot older than Todd, and Dave he's a great person out there. He's great for the sport, but
he's
that's
great.
all.
He's a great mentor.
Yeah, that's a whole different story all in itself. But either way, we look at your team, and you got three young guys, who are still in the learning stages.
And
I'll
we'll
tell
be
you-
there for them and do what we can to help them. So
One of the things that I really like about the ARCA West Series is in any given race, there's about 5 drivers that are highly competitive. In the ARCA Menard Series and the ARCA East this year, it seems like you could pretty much count on 2 fingers or sometimes just 1 finger how many drivers are going to be competitive and win the race. So I like the competitiveness of the ARCA West Series and the fact that there are so many talented guys that are racing this season. So, and of course, 2 or 3 of those drivers, well, at least 2 of those drivers are your drivers. So you pretty much met your goals, I think, for your first season. Is that the case?
I don't think so. To be honest with you, I think we're still going to peak. I think Jan's racing. I don't think you've seen the best yet. And
okay.
I won't give up. And if they don't give up, I think there's a song like that, right? And
there is.
Anyhow, I want to make sure that these kids right now, while they're peaking, have the best of the equipment and the best people around them. Race at some great tracks. And matter of fact, I thank all the tracks that are willing to have us race at their tracks. They're so personable and kind and nice to the kids and everybody. But it's such an experience, and I want this experience, like you said, the 5 or 6 or 7 people that we have that are in contention. I want them all to have this same ability to have the chance to win, because you're in the hunt. I mean, it's one of the best sports in the world, and I think that's what keeps me up at night.
Well, that's good. And Madera is a big one because that's a home track, I think, for Robbie. Kyle's out in Las Vegas.
Nope, both of them.
Oh, both of them are in
Yeah,
Madera.
both up Madera now.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyle's back and forth between Vegas and Madera, but they're,
Okay.
he's good at the Bullring. He's good at Madera.
Well,
Kyle
the
is
Bullring's
good.
coming up too.
Yeah, Kyle's good anywhere. He's just a shoe, and now it's rubbed off onto Robbie, and I'm so glad to see these two. They're just great kids, and like I say, I want them to be one. I want them both to do great, and maybe from here they'll move up to a Cup team, and the Cup team will accept both of them, or a truck team or Xfinity. When you have a couple guys that work well together, whether it's a crew chief, and a driver,
That's a positive.
yeah, it's a positive. So you got 2 guys that are doing great. Why mess that chemistry up? Keep them around together. Let them move up the ladder together. I think it would be awesome to see that happen.
Yes, it would be. And we'll keep watching, Jan. We really enjoyed this season. And we're thankful that you were able to come onto the show and spend some time with us today. And I know you're on social media if people want to follow you, both Facebook and are you on X and Instagram?
Well, not really too much. I'm basically on Jan Qualkenbush on Facebook, but I've already got my 5,000 or people or whatever it is on there that I can have the maximum. But you can go to Jan's Racing, and I think we can still get friends requests on that on jansracing.com. So yeah, just type in Jan's, and I'm sure something will come up, and we'll try to plug them in so they can follow us. There's a lot of media about us, and we had a write-up last night. I don't know if I touched on that. Kicking Tires. Did I talk about that?
Oh, yes, you did talk about Kicking Tires.
Okay.
Yes.
That was really something to see that. And there was something else I saw. There's always something, a little clip or something coming up about the kids, inspiring them. And I thank everybody for the inspiration that you give these kids.
Absolutely. And we thank you for your time and effort behind all of that. So thank you, Jan, and your time and effort here on Fan for Racing Radio as well. So thanks so much. And we hope we'll talk to you again somewhere down the road here.
Well, maybe one of them, or maybe both of them, will be up on the podium at Madera. And you never know. Maybe the Bullring. We'll try our best, and they won't give up.
I believe that. So thank you again so much, Jan, and we'll look forward to your next visit.
Thank you so much, and for everything you guys do for the sport and all the kids. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Good
you
night.
too.